Greetings guys, girls, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. Recently, the NLOG girls have been NLOGing really hard. And there is a never-ending amount of content in the Not Like the Other Girls Reddit, and I feel like we're in need of another dive into it because there is so much of it. There's so much of it and we really need to talk about it a little bit more. Before we do talk about it, I would like to say a massive thank you to today's patron of the day, Elridia. I appreciate you and your support so much, and I hope that you enjoy this video. If you would like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/savvycat or click the top link in the description. It starts at as little as £1 a month, and I appreciate all of your support very much. So thank you. And yeah, let's dive into it. Basically, we all know the name of the game. There are a lot of women who really love to compare themselves to other women. And by that, I mean they really like to push other women down in order to feel good about themselves. Because for some reason, you can't feel good about yourself if you are equal to other women. You can only feel good about yourself if you shove everyone else down and you get male approval and feel like you're better than everyone, which is a direct result of the patriarchy, obviously. And I do feel bad for people who feel like they have to do that to feel good about themselves, but it doesn't change the fact that they are being terrible. They are actively harming and insulting women. So we're going to have a look at some of the things that they're saying. To start with, we have a really fun one of, wow, C-section moms had it easy. I had to push a 6-pound, 6-ounce baby out of my vagina and it opened up this big. You just had the bottom of your stomach cut open and the baby taken out. Must be nice to take the easy way out of labor. At least I'm a real mom. And it's got a photo of how much you dilate during labor. And it goes really massive, which I honestly always find so terrifying. Like, how is there room for that? Doesn't make sense at all to me. I don't get it. Seems really painful. Ouch. ouch. And oof. But anyway, that is beside the point. The point here is, what? What did you just say? You think a C-section is taking the easy way out? For one thing, you still go into labor when you have a C-section. Like, you are still going through those contractions and experiencing that. Like, that doesn't stop. C-sections happen for a number of reasons. Like, I guess if you're having a planned private C-section, then maybe you don't go through the labor and the contractions and whatever, but a lot of the time you still do, and C-sections are an emergency procedure. But either way, that doesn't matter. A C-section is still a very physically tolling thing to go through. It is a major surgery. They have to cut you open and take all your organs out of your body to pull a human out of you. And it leaves you having to be stitched up with a massive gash in your abdomen. And then you have to go through a really long and painful recovery process from having a major surgery. They're painful and traumatizing for two different reasons, but they both suck. Really? They're both not a good time. And one doesn't, birthing someone makes you a real mother, and a C-section, how does that make any sense? I don't think that's got anything to do with anything. You can adopt a child and still be a real mother, let alone grow a child inside you and have them removed in a different way. You're a mother regardless. The way you birth them literally has nothing to do with anything. Get over yourself. You aren't better than anyone. Why are you out here insulting women who had C-sections? What are you gaining from this? Imagine carrying pregnancy for 9 months only to end up giving birth to a little creature who does not only look exactly like her father, but she also has taken all of your husband's attention. As a woman, if your first child is a girl, just know you now have a biological co-wife. And this is 56,000 likes. That's so gross. What are you talking about? What? What? You are viewing your daughter as a co-wife, your newborn daughter. You are viewing her as someone who's stolen your husband away from you? That's insane, actually. What? I would hope that your husband spends time with your daughter and gives her attention. That's what's expected of a father and of parents in general. You're meant to give time and love and attention to them. I don't know what you mean by this co-wife business, because nothing about the relationship between a father and a daughter should be like the relationship between a husband and a wife. Nothing really should line up there at all. What do you mean? Love your children and don't be jealous of them. It is a sport, and it's figure skating. This girl wearing like a dress leotard, holding her skate above her head, which looks so difficult and painful. And then me trying not to laugh at her while she dances in the little skates in the super tiny dress while she says that. And it's an ice hockey player. Don't make me laugh. You have clearly never tried figure skating. Ever. Because it is so difficult. It is so physically strenuous. Like it is an incredibly difficult thing to do. It takes such a massive toll on your body. I think that things like figure skating and ballet and gymnastics are some of the hardest sports there are. Like, there's a reason why a lot of them have to retire like so young. It's because your body is like cannot take it for that long. They're so strict and so pedantic about everything. And like, what are you jealous of figure skaters? Like, ice hockey is a sport, yes, but it is no more of a sport than figure skating. It's just a very different sport. This reminds me of, I grew up around gymnasts. My sister was a competitive gymnast, and they all looked at the cheerleaders and were like, that's not a real sport. There's like beef between the gymnasts and the cheerleaders because the gymnasts are so uptight and like perfectionists. And so they look at like cheerleaders and we're like, that's not a real sport. That doesn't count. You're all sloppy and not doing anything correctly. And it's like, no, it's just they have different priorities and they work differently. They're all sports. They're just different. They have different core to them. And there's no need to be insulting people for their sport of choice. You aren't any better because you play an aggressive sport. Right? Like, your sport might be more aggressive when it comes to playing, but I'm sure that when it comes to like how intense it is within like training and within yourself, I don't think much can compare to things like figure skating. I feel like it's pretty horrifically intense. I did figure skating for like 5 minutes when I was a kid. It was so hard. It was so difficult. How it feels being 23 and pregnant with baby number 5, even though the feminist pro-choices are telling me to stop and that my life is ruined. Who's telling you that? This is what's funny, is I think that people get confused as to like, when I say, me personally, having a kid right now would suck. Like, it would suck so bad. They take that as me telling them their life sucks because they have a kid at 24. That's how old I am. Like, those aren't the same thing. It's that whole meme of like being like, I like pancakes. And the reply is like, what did you say about waffles? Like, they're not related. A kid isn't right for me right now. If I had a kid right now, my life would be completely derailed. You know, like, I can barely look after myself. I like having extra money to be able to like travel and shit. I would have to change my entire lifestyle for a kid. And like, I just don't have the time and the resources and the like mental capacity to have a child, let alone 5 of them, you know? So like, me saying that about myself actually has nothing to do with you. If you want to be 23 with 5 kids, like, I don't get it, and I'm questioning it a little bit, but like, if that's what makes you happy and it's working for you and you can afford to look after that many kids and give them your like love and attention and all that, then fine. If that's what you want and you're enjoying your life, then no, your life isn't ruined, but my life would be, because that's not what I want. And there's a difference in those two statements. You know? When another mom thinks I'm normal because I wear Free People and Lululemon, but is quickly scared off after we talk and she finds out I'm drinking bone broth, not coffee, my kids aren't blank. Our Wi-Fi is off at night. I have 4 hydro flasks with me that are filled with safe water. Beef liver is our multivitamin, and I caught my baby at home by myself. I like my kids aren't. She meant vaccinated, like her kids aren't vaccinated. That's the only thing I can fill in with that, is that her kids aren't vaccinated. Because a lot of these mums, these crunchy mums, which I have a video on crunchy mums coming soon, or maybe I've already posted it, one or the other, don't vaccinate their kids, because of course they don't. But like, I don't really care, you know? Like, I might think, yeah, that is a bit odd. Me personally, I don't entirely get why you're drinking bone broth instead of coffee and think that's a substitute. Those aren't the same thing at all. If you want to not drink coffee, go for it. A lot of people don't. Drinking bone broth is gross as hell to me, but sure. Don't see how it replaces coffee though. I don't think it has caffeine in it. So I don't think that's a viable substitute. Your kids not being vaccinated, I am judging you for that, because you are not only putting your kids in danger, but other kids as well. And I do have a question about 4 hydro flasks filled with clean water on you at any given time. What does that even mean? Really? Why do you have 4 hydro flasks at any given time? Unless, I guess if you have a lot of kids, or like if you have a couple of kids, you have a water bottle each. That makes sense, I guess. But what do you mean by clean water? Do you just mean filtered water? Is that all you mean? Okay. Most of the time when you have bottled water, it's gonna be filtered. Beef liver is our multivitamin. Does everyone take multivitamins? I don't take multivitamins. I don't take vitamins at all. They're expensive and I can't be bothered, and I forget about them almost every day. And I'm perfectly fine without them. So are you missing something else from your diet that means you have to take beef liver to substitute for the vitamin you're missing from somewhere else? I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with taking supplements, but I feel like if you're taking supplements, you can't have like a superiority complex over me for having like a better diet and lifestyle if you're having to do something extra to get that nutrients where I don't have to, you know? Raise your kids how you want, and I'll raise my hypothetical kids how I want. And we don't have to have anything to do with each other, or we could. When he thought he was getting a low-maintenance wife, because I'm not a Botox and vacations type of girl, but I am a homesteading, Jersey cow, chickens and livestock, organic, EMF blocking phone case, will be the one raising our 4 kids type of girl. That was a lot. There's too many things in there that like gave me a headache to read. Okay? Half of those things were the same thing. Like cow, chicken, and livestock. Like that's the same. You didn't need to say all 3 of those things. You could just say farm. Just say farm. Just say livestock. Like, why did you need to extend that out just to like confuse my brain? If you want to live your life paranoid about like EMF waves and like microwaves and radiation and all that, then like be my guest. You can live your life worrying about all this shit. Like if you want to drink raw milk because, you know, you don't like the idea of chemicals being in your body or whatever, like go for it. It sounds absolutely exhausting and is not really actually doing much difference in your life. But like, don't come in here and say that it makes you better than the Botox and vacation kind of girls, you know? Like, everyone has their own thing. You know, me personally, I think that holidays are a nice thing to have. I just don't entirely understand why this makes you feel better than anyone. Like, it's this thing of like, are these people regretting their life choices? Are they miserable? Do they feel envious of the people who don't care about these things? Is that what this is? Is they like tearing down other women who prioritize like wanting to take time off for like self-care and whatever and go on a holiday? They like are envious of that because they care so much about this silly little stuff like EMF waves and a few chemicals going in their food. Like I don't get it. Do what makes you happy, but like, why did you have to bring others into it? There's no need for you to bring others into this. Just say what you want and say what you like and what you desire and what makes you happy without bringing in other people and being like, I'm not like those other girls though. I'm different. I'm better. Like, it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. Stop it. Then there's this like whole trend that took place of these girls posting TikToks that are like, you better stop treating your man like trash or else he's going to end up at my house with dinner and a case of cold beer when he gets home. You better stop treating your man like trash or they're going to end up in Texas with a country girl that knows how to treat a man. And like, girl, have some self-respect actually, because if a man is willing to leave his partner so quickly for someone else, why do you want him? If you are trying to win over someone else's partner and they give in that easily and just come running to you, why do you want him? Like, he's not worth it. He's not worth your time. If it's that easy to like steal someone's boyfriend, he's not the type of guy you want around. It's like when people have affairs and the person they had the affair with like stays with them after they're found out. It's so fascinating to me because it's like, you are the person that they were cheating on someone with. Like, you know what they are capable of. You know that they aren't morally opposed to cheating. You know that they can hide it. And yet you're like, but like, they chose me though, so I'm gonna stay. It's like, no, don't. Because you know that they aren't morally opposed to cheating on you. If they've done it once, they can and likely will do it again. Sure, not all the time, but like, how could you ever have like full trust in someone who has broken that trust with someone else? And it's the same in this sort of instance. It's like, why do you want someone who would leave someone so quickly? And I know it's a joke, but like, girl, why do you want a man that's that easily pleased? If all a man wants you for is your ability to cook him dinner and give him beer, and that's all he cares about, that's not a good foundation for a relationship. That's not a relationship you should want to be in. Like, a relationship needs much more than that. And if that's what you're satisfied with, raise your bar. Like, raise your bar, please. Because you deserve better than someone who just wants you because you can look after him and be quiet. This is an image of a bunch of women all drawn the exact same, and they're wearing like really short shorts or a really short skirt and then like tank tops, and they're all like doing their makeup. And then in the front to the side there's a girl who's like emo. She's wearing all black, she's got the emo hair and the like chokers, and is holding a sign that says error. And someone commented saying, I love this because it defines my whole school perfectly. Every girl is pretty much the same and I'm pretty much the only girl that's different. And I know this is something that so many people go through at school. And it's so funny because I also know that like at this person's school, there are other girls who are seeing this and saying the exact same thing. Like, they're most definitely not the only girl at their school who thinks like this. And that makes it kind of extra funny because I know so many of us do go through this same thing. There's like, you go one of two ways, really. A lot of the time it's either you want to be not like the other girls or you try desperately to fit in with others. Or sometimes, confusingly, like me, you kind of somehow want to do both, which doesn't really make a ton of sense, but it kind of is kind of like that, right? And it's so astounding how it goes like that, and how like high school in particular like really, really hits you in that insecurity as you're trying to like figure out the world and find your place. It just makes you really want to be different, especially when you're in a place that like forces you to conform so much and you are surrounded by so much misogyny everywhere, and you want to be liked, but you want to be different. So you change yourself to be different in a way that other people are different so that people will validate that difference. And it's just so fascinating. You get like pockets and communities of people who are like trying really hard to be different, but they're trying to be different in the same way so that they still have things in common with other people. And so it's like not like the other girls, like the girls who are not like the other girls. And it's just really funny. And it's sad, you know, because like you deny yourself of things that actually make you happy because you don't want to fit into a like box, you know? Like women have been painted out to be very two-dimensional and it feels like a box, and you want to break out of that and have people view you as a unique individual, which is completely fair enough. It doesn't mean you should be judging people for fitting into that box. It doesn't mean you should be judging people for having interests that is like more popular, you know? And like you learn that eventually, most of the time. I hope this person learns that eventually. And it's why I guess you get like a lot of nostalgia and stuff comes back when you're in like your late teens, early 20s, whatever. All the stuff that you didn't allow yourself to enjoy when you were younger, you allow yourself to enjoy as an adult. Like I love pink things. I love like stuff that I used to really love as a kid that I stopped allowing myself to enjoy because other people enjoyed it or because I was judged because it was too girly or whatever, you know? And you allow yourself to come back and experience like more of the stuff you were denied, and like you connect with your inner child because you finally stop caring. And I hope that this person gets there. And I hope that anyone watching this struggling with this whole thing gets there eventually as well. It doesn't matter who you are or what you enjoy. And if you're in school, just remember that high school literally it's not everything. The world is so big. I get that it feels like it's everything, and at the time like school is everything. That is your world. So I completely get it. Just know that like it is so much bigger and like it doesn't matter once you leave. I know everyone says that and it's hard to believe, but like it truly is. And I so wish sometimes I like realize how much I took high school for granted. Like I miss it so much sometimes. I like really wish I could go back and just like try again with the knowledge that I have now, but I'll never be able to go back. And I didn't get it at the time. I get it now, and I feel old that I get it. The problem with our first world society is that most would get grossed out at me rubbing mud from my backyard on my face and my hair, all while raving about the newest $50 mud mask from their favorite makeup brand. And she's sitting in her back garden rubbing mud into her face and hair, and girl, no. That is so not the same thing. It's so not the same thing. Like, yes, people will get grossed out by this because that mud is dirty. That mud is dirty. It's not like sanitized. It's not like mineral mud. That's like specific mud that is good for your skin. It's not just mud in general. It's not just wet dirt. It's like specific types of mud from specific places, like thermal pools and things that's been like cleaned. This mud has parasites and stuff in it. It's no, don't. You can't just look at people doing like mud masks and things and be like, why would you waste your money on mud? I'm gonna DIY this and put mud on my face at home because I'm like way more efficient than you. Like, you don't do that. You don't have to do that. Please don't do that. This is so bad for your skin and your hair. Oh, I cannot imagine how gross this would feel. I hope that your skin is okay, and you didn't get any parasites from the dirt in your skin. In a world full of woke feminists, we need more women who aren't afraid to get their hands dirty cooking for their hard-working husbands. It's fucking hilarious the amount of these there are, because it really shows that there is definitely an excess of you. There's definitely enough of you out there, considering how many of these there are and how big trad wife content has become recently. It's so funny using being a trad wife as not like the other girls, considering that was like all women were expected to be for a very long time. And then now coming back being like, I'm not like the other girls. I am a traditional woman. Like, you see, you can hear how that doesn't make sense, right? You can't say you're not like anyone else if you are like traditional, you know? If you are doing something that has been expected of us for forever, that doesn't make you different. Actually, it really doesn't make you different, and it certainly doesn't make you better. We all have different aspirations, and it would be really great if you could just stay in your lane and let others stay in theirs. And if you think the whole world is full of woke feminists, you're also like greatly mistaken, and your worldview is very, very small. You need to like look around a little bit, because you are hugely, grossly mistaken. So I'm gonna end this video here because I don't want to do this anymore. I feel like I'm getting a little bit repetitive at this point. So I'm just gonna stop and say, you know, do what you want, live your life how you want to, and like leave women alone. You aren't better or worse than anyone because of what you enjoy. Be different, be the same. Everyone has something in common with someone, and that's okay. Find commonalities with others, build community, love one another, raise each other up, don't bring each other down. It's really that simple. Male validation isn't everything. I know we're told that it is, but it's not. And the sooner you learn that, the better. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I upload every few days, and I would love to see you again soon. Massive thank you to my Sprout and Above patrons whose names are up on the screen right now. I appreciate you greatly. And a huge thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons: Bobby, Josh, Mandy, Ixel, Jessica, Eldo, Danielle, Elias, Chris, Samuel, Radsack, Mr. Noodle, Jonathan, and Bonbon. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. If anyone else would like to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/savvycat or click the top link in the description. For as little as £1 a month, you get my videos a day early. And for £3 and up, you get things such as outtakes, bonus mini podcasts, live streams, vlogs, and more. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, The Queer Kiwi, and Twitter, That Queer Kiwi. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah. When you close your eyes.